Tonight on the Invention Laboratory, we explain the process of hiring professionals to assist with your invention. While no one can be a master of all disciplines associated with inventing, you should always try your best to educate yourself and do as much of the work on your own as possible. Most likely, your finances are limited, and even if they aren't, they're probably best reserved for areas where you have the least amount of confidence and expertise. When hiring professionals, you should first discern why you're requesting the assistance, how that assistance will benefit your project, and whether or not the end result is something that you can acquire through less expensive or free channels. For example, when my clients reach out with a brand new project, they're always presented with three options. I refer to them as creative pathways. Pathway number one is the independent creator. This is a self-guided creation process that utilizes our free online courses, social media content, and this podcast as a guideline for their invention journey. The second pathway is a collaborative partnership. This is a hands-on mentorship program that's geared towards self-starters that just want to bounce ideas off of industry professionals while they work their way through the invention process. And the final pathway is the professional client. This is a hands-off approach that is usually used by inexperienced or over-leveraged clients and companies. Product developers depend on the expertise of partners, companies, attorneys, and consultants to do the work that they simply don't have the time for or they lack expertise in. Creating an invention brief takes time, money, and resources. That time may be better spent on establishing and building relationships with potential buyers. If you have an idea and you're interested in scheduling a free phone consultation, head over to the website kcharltonindustries.com and reach out to schedule an appointment. The link is actually in the description below. My firm operates under a very different structure than traditional invention companies. All of our creatives, designers, and attorneys are independent owners, freelancers, and consultants. After spending years in the corporate world, I was able to realize the overhead associated with their business model, and I despise the way that smaller manufacturers, law practices, and designers were treated when compared to their corporate counterparts. The smaller entities' work was always superior to the larger companies because they have less of a caseload and they treat my clients as a priority. I kept that in mind when I structured the Invention Laboratory and K. Charlton Industries business model. Hiring a company, consultant, or attorney to assist with your invention can be a task in itself. The vetting process is arduous, and you're usually met with conflicting information. Most companies are great at certain aspects of creation, but as I've mentioned before, if you ever hear the term all under one roof, please take that with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean that they're the best at everything necessary to complete your project. It just means that they've checked all of the boxes over time to accommodate the requests of their clientele. They're simply implying that you can technically do everything necessary to create your product with that company. What they leave out is that you can technically do everything necessary to create your product on your own and do it from the comfort of your home, utilizing the best service offerings from a variety of consultants, attorneys, design firms, and marketing houses. Think of it like shopping at a local pharmacy. Yes, you can technically get everything you need here, but it probably won't be the cheapest, and they're really only experts in pharmacology. So here's your prescription, perfectly priced, packaged, and the pharmacist is ready for your consult to answer any questions you might have about medication, your food intake, and to perform a checkup if you have time. As far as everything else you needed while you were out today, if you're too lazy to drive to other stores, milk is in aisle 3. We only have organic and soy. That's pretty close to what you wanted, right? There's a 5-pound bag of potting soil in the seasonal aisle, $17.99, and Fran and Photo can print a few copies of that poster for your son's school project. It might be a bit grainy, and they might cut off some of the picture because of how old our machines are, but we can have it done in less than an hour. I'm sure you understand what I'm getting at. So in the spirit of this conversation, let's look at a few industry leaders in the product development field and highlight their specialties along with a few pros and cons. These are the companies that will come up first when you type invention or invention assistance into Google. Company number 1, InventHelp. They've been around since 1984. They're also known as an invention marketing company, and they specialize in creating presentation materials that are used to create marketing packages. Some of the positives: in-depth market research can be used when creating finalized presentation materials, filing intellectual property, or pitching the concept to a company. Some of the negatives: the price is extremely high, and the product The presentation materials are poorly designed, especially for the price that they're charging. Second company on the list, Davison. They've been in business since 1989. It's a research and development firm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're known for building physical prototypes. They're the largest prototype production house in North America. Some of the positives: prototypes come with specs for mass production. You get exactly what you pay for as long as you're clear on exactly what it is that you'd like constructed. Some of the negatives: the price is a bit on the high side, and also the lack of education. They have a specific and unique patented invention process that they use, so clients don't learn anything during the process. The company will only share what they feel you need to know, and when you have another idea, you have to pay for that process repeatedly. Company number 3, InventRight. Consultation firm founded by Stephen Key and Andrew Krauss in 1999. They specialize in licensing and open source innovation. These are creator to company presentations with limited investment or expense on presentation materials. Some of the positives: very low barrier to entry. There's also a lot of educational tools provided through books and online resources, so that's a good thing. Some of the negatives: methodology and exposure. The methodology is similar to throwing darts at the wall until something sticks. Confidentiality is a concern, with the owners recommending perceived ownership as the only necessary preventative measure. Because your investment is low, it's still a viable option as long as you don't mind the possibility of someone ignoring that perceived ownership and rolling with your concept anyway. If you've completed your invention brief properly and put your protections in place, you can still use this model because you've taken a few additional steps that they don't recommend during their process. Last company on the list, Product. This is a startup founded in 2015. The company specializes in contract manufacturing projects, both small and large batch manufacturing. Some of the positives: incredible customer service. A small company means that you aren't just a number and they actually care about your project. If they have the contacts, you will have a product. It's plain and simple. Some of the negatives: the price, extremely, extremely high. They do everything ad hoc. So as things come in, they pay for it and they charge a markup for what they charge the independent client. As far as I can see, no IP experience, and they vet projects based solely on their sourcing capabilities and not the merit of the concept. They only work on physical products, as far as I can tell. No service offerings or business proposals are being considered at this time. When you finally understand all of the pieces necessary to finish your invention puzzle, you can start constructing your professional team. The corner pieces of the puzzle will always be your attorney and legal team. They're a great starting point, and they serve as a guide as you start to navigate the landscape. The accountants will encourage you to simply count the contents of the box, make sure all 500 pieces are there, and ask questions like, how much could you charge for it framed at the project's conclusion? The designers will determine where each piece fits, and the builders will help you construct your masterpiece. But before you even pick up the puzzle off the store shelf, don't forget to do your research. Why would you spend hours on a project containing butterflies, open fields, and deciphering 7 shades of pink puzzle pieces when your favorite color's blue, you were born in the city, and frame puzzles of your favorite fountain in the park are selling for $500? Getting help with your invention is inevitable. It's simply a matter of how much you're willing to do on your own and what things you feel are best left in the hands of the professionals. Unless your invention brief is complete, hiring any of these professionals will be a complete waste of time and money. Product clarity will make sure that your research, your design specs, your prototype, and the presentation materials represent your project accurately. The goal of completing an invention brief is to maintain the integrity of your project and to say with certainty at the project's conclusion that you were the inventor of the concept, and this vision represents exactly what you wanted your clients to have. Without that clarity, you leave the door open for professionals to taint your vision by cutting costs, removing features, and dumbing the project down to digestible sized pieces of what was once a life-changing project. Remember, you are the creator, not just the customer. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of some of the most notable companies in the industry as of 2020. Together, these companies have collectively helped millions of people with their projects. Regardless of who you choose to assist with your project, understand that we all have the same goal in mind. We want you to get that idea out of your head and in front of anyone who can help you bring that project to life. Thanks for tuning into episode 29, and as always, reach out to me with any questions you'd like to have answered in future episodes. Until next time, take care.